What up? What up? How are you guys doing? So, now this is the funny part, right? We talked earlier about QQQ, yeah? So, what we talked about was this draw liquidity here, and we got that. I also talked about how when price was being lethargic in this area, how we wanted to come down and watch for reactions here, right? And on this channel, we talked a lot about whether it's a stop run, how you see here currently, which happens like right outside of your go back level, right? Or your daily range. So a lot of times when you had this objective here, we talked about this being bullish, right? But realistically, when we're coming down to this area, right? It's not going to ignore the liquidity that's involved, right? So that's why it takes this high out, makes another one, but we're not yet done with this dealing range. It would create a stop run. And again, right now it's currently 3:36, so going into PM session, this is what you need to pay attention to. Okay. And so obviously removing what we talked about in the previous video and go back and watch the prediction on the end of that to what we expected. Okay. Now, what I wanted to mention, right? Now, there's a few minutes left and we could talk about this. Now, do you see how we have some of these settings here? I talked about the accumulation, manipulation, and distribution settings. You can keep the same. Time cycles, you can keep the same. Go back levels here. You want to show go back levels. Equilibrium mode is off. Forex mode is off. Extend the days left. You can actually make this your dealing range extend further to your left if you want to explore more price action that way. When it comes to CE levels, you want to make these bright color. I mean, me personally, I have a dark theme, so if you have a dark theme, you want to use a light color and change these to dashed. Okay. Non-GB levels, you can keep them on or off. Again, these are just coming in with consequent encroachment levels. The dealing ranges also can calculate those for you automatically. Labels you want on, and it's helpful to just keep these on. Again, shout out to Aircam for the settings, right? Um, Labels in white, he's totally right because these are hard to see in gray. You want these as a lighter color if you have a dark theme. And coming inside of here, my bad. So you have this stats box. I don't use it, but you can use it. It's like a little, shows you at the bottom what PO3 number you're on. This is different from my cheat sheet. Okay. So this is not what I like to keep on the screen very often. You can use it. I find it distracting, you know. It might pop in, might not. Yeah, I don't even have that enabled. Yeah, nah. So long story short, dealing range box, that's what I like. Um, Highlight shared ranges, you want that for sure in your cheat sheet. And you can switch the colors for those if you like. Imbalances, this will show you again like the hippos. If you're understanding what the hippos are. And we're going to talk about those in a separate video. You have again your regular buy and sell side for value gaps. Non-GB levels customization, you can again do um, like different colors for your GB levels once you enable those, right? People ask me how I get custom fair value gap. Is you want to make the blue like your 11 and your 17, and then do the same thing on your 83 and your 89. So this is how I make my levels blue. Makes sense. And so someone asked me how to go through, majority of the settings. And the rest of these you can keep like, however you like to do it. You can color code the entire dealing range if you want to. I mean, you can, but I don't really need to do that. I can just see where we are. And so Long story short, and you see how price is playing along this dealing range. It's the end of the market. It's 20 minutes left. But the biggest thing is when we're like identifying what happened in price, right? I'm on a 5 minute chart, but let's break this down to like a 1 or 2 minute, right? And again, just for context, this is a 3, okay? So we're still on like a low as shit PL3 number. But this is great because you see how much QQQ moves, but in reality, based on an actual dealing range, this is not hard to navigate and not super, super fast to where you can't like navigate price correctly. And we talked about why price was bullish inside this new week opening gap. It's an invisible fair value gap, so it went bullish. It took out buy side liquidity, and you're going in order. That's all you're doing. Okay, here, buy side liquidity taken, right? So again, it creates like relatively equal highs, right? So when your C price spooling up like this, yeah, we're not gonna like ignore these at all. Yes, these are wide open, and we have imbalances and other things down here. And we may not know where QQQ is gonna go tomorrow. Maybe we don't care yet. Why? Because if you're a scalper, you don't really have to come in and stalk this price action. You can wake up tomorrow morning and see exactly what you need to do. You already have expected price action for today in terms of AMD, so you can come in tomorrow and decide what you want to do. If you trade an X on the Monday, you kind of want to be into scalping on A's if that's your Tuesday's vibe, okay? But outside of this and the dealing range, you see exactly what we're up to. So even if you wanted that last minute scalp, this is actually not very difficult. See that? Bring it to a new dealing range. And what's down here? You guessed it. It's going to be a lot of fair value gap activity, you know. And again, however you look for it, however you search for it, you got this monster gap here. There's also a inverse fair value gap that it's reacting from. And people asked how the inverse works inside of the gold back level. Works like that. See that? For example, obviously when price came up here, it broke this fair value gap and drove right back into it. We went up and then actually took support here instead of resistance and then blasted through it. Yep. And again, a lot of people are, concerned whether it's a balanced price range or not, or if this is going to be a retracement back into this one. Understandable. But this is why I say if you actually want to switch your perspective, just move your dealing range. Go up to a 27 and go to the hour chart. What's difficult? And like I said, bullish, right? Look at the vibe. And it's current too. So the reason why your dealing range is accurate and perfect, it can show you both sides whenever, is because it's doing the math for you, calculating from current price. It's a tweaked version of the Tesla Vortex 3, 6, and 9, right? So it's doing the current math, and high, low, and equilibrium are all calculated using the equation. You got to read the book. And yeah, bro, so go support the book. I supported the book. Go support the book. All right. I bought it. You should buy it. And so that's what's cool about this here. You can see exactly where price came from. So when you're looking at price action here, and look, we dive into Friday, right? It's Friday. This is all today, right? Doesn't this look like kind of like consolidated mostly? Doesn't it look like super trendy over these couple of hours, right? It's not like Friday, which is straight expanded. This looks more like an A to me, doesn't it? That makes it seem like tomorrow on QQQ is going to be like an manipulation. Looks like it's going to be some sort of, whatever it wants to do, right? It's just going to go really, really far, really, really fast. And tomorrow's going to be a good day for us to review price action, right? So I'm excited. Like this is some of the best work that we've done together, right? And especially because when you come in and you start looking at price action more, again, algorithmic price delivery is not very difficult to learn. It's actually easier on you. I mean, granted, you understand core ICT concepts. I'll give you that, and we talk on those. But I mean, don't not just watch me. Watch Michael, right? Go watch Aircam. Go watch Day. Dude, I believe he still has that one video. He was not, if Day drops a, yeah, if Day drops another video, somebody let me know, bro. Cause seriously, that shit is crazy. But when you're, I always take time to admire my favorite traders. But when you're in this area, right? And again, we're looking at the 27th perspective, right? So it's a 15. So it's there we are. We're obviously in a premium, right? We drop down. There's hella sell side liquidity here. Hella. Oh my God. A lot. Sell side liquidity pool. Yeah. Also found in your breaker level. And you notice a lot of times your breaker level causes reversals. So you're going to want to watch for that. A lot of times if you're in like from sales here, using and again, I'll let you see my algo so we can make sure we are on the same page. I turn it off for a lot of reasons. The 27, again, I like this green space personally, but if I know the highs and lows already, I'm not going to be super dependent on this cheat sheet. I'll already have a place in plan or a plan in, I said place in plan in place for what I would like to do at the time, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or it depends on a certain time of the day. And that's a really big hint about all this time. When I'm looking at some of these power three dealing ranges, right? And you see how we consolidate at this high, drop down. We talked on that. But when you get to this Monday, right? And there wasn't like too much news or whatever today. It wasn't like too energetic, right? So we had a clean, nice little like expansion. It looks like a manipulation, or my bad, it looks like an X kind of just because it's so trendy here. But we're just gonna have to verify by tomorrow to see if it's gonna be like a more accumulated or more manipulated how I expect. Because this looks kind of like small for QQQ, you know, compared to something else. I mean, this is kind of small, right? So, and again, we're in the middle of a liquidity void. We stopped there. We have all this liquidity here. We failed to meet that EQ on the way down. So I feel like this expansion, we're kind of a little too far. Not saying for us to hit the high, but for us to like, maybe we want to touch highs here, break these, and then come down because you have a lot of power through liquidity engineered below us. So I want to see these lows referenced at some point. We took the high how we already called already, right? We narrated that, no problem. There is the low of this 27, which has a shared, it has a shared high though. That's interesting. That's interesting for sure. So maybe we do want to run this high one more time, right? So, again, points of interest for QQQ, right? Real quick. We're looking for, and you guys can note this down, right? Okay. So we're looking for 459 because that's the 9 and the 27 high. So we're going to keep watch on that. That's important. We're also going to keep watch on 448.50. No, 448 and a quarter. Yeah. Want to keep watch on that. And ultimately, the end of the partition. But the only thing is, again, we're ranging right now. So we need to actually come in and we're actually going to do a series of this and I can write it out for you on purpose. What we're going to talk about. I'm literally holding the lighter in my hand because I know, you know me, I'm always going to, like, as soon as I put the lighter down, I will lose it. Now, you see how quick my ADD just pops in like that? Hilarious. But when we're talking on high time frame PD arrays, and again, whether it's NQ or whether it's AMD. We're actually going to come in and look at some other assets other than QQQ. I do want to pop in and look at um, some lower valuation ones for people who might not be able to trade uh, some of the major ones like that are popular. Um, so like DAL, Delta moves amazingly, right? So I love Delta. Um, just giving you some things that are on my watch list that I really love to trade a lot on options. Okay. Now let's actually back out. Oh my Lord. Hold on. Back out. Back up. And do you see why I start on the hour chart a lot? Because this is a lot easier to see like the perspective on what we're doing here. Even like the 4 hour for certain ones of these. And look at this. Oh my Lord. Yo, this is crazy. And you know what's funny about this? Is I was looking at this with another student recently. Like we look at Tesla and a lot of other bigger ones normally, but this is my whole thing about lower valuation stocks to him. If we understand exactly where go back levels are telling us where they're going to go, and this is why being, versatile in the logic is helpful here. The reason why I keep going up a time frame is I'm seeing how long it takes for us to do certain price swings. So for example, let's pop in and go right to left. Let's go recently, right? So I'm more interested in time. Let's do this here. Pop in. And we're looking for, this is August. And this is recently, right? Okay, so July. Now we're going to start at July because when we get to high time frame PD arrays, that's going to lead us into high time frame AMD. All right. And so I'm getting you comfortable looking at things, uh, not just by go back levels, but looking at the calendar and expecting certain things at certain times. We are going to have such an influential talk on times of the year, quarterly shift, and just how to be more prepared for different like market environments that are given to you throughout the year, and how you're going to come in and dominate the marketplace now. You're no longer scared because you now understand the narrative. We talked about this. What is that? That's actually my birthday, July 10th. So right here, July 10th and 11th, right? The reason why I'm talking about July and not January yet is because July is what we call the start of distribution for the quarter, or it's just basically like Q3 of the year. All right. And Q4 is September through, September, October, November. Yep. So you have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and September. And then you have Q4 being, yep, October, November, and December. Well, Q4, my bad. And then July through September. All right. So the reason why this is important, like July is you really got to be on your game by next July, bro. There's no excuse for, I mean, take this year to really get your game down, really practice, right? Get comfortable with the algorithm, my guy. All right. So you could dominate shit like this. And this is easy. We're on a daily chart now. All right. So again, we're looking at the start of July here, 1st of July. We pop in and we make all these highs here. We pop down into a premium. And look, the logic is no different than what we talked about this whole time. Let's do it a simple way. All right. We got liquidity engineer right in our breaker area. Right here, right? So we pop down. Now, you already know that there's a gap here, so this needs to be filled for sure. So you're going to keep watch on that. Next couple of days, boom. This is already in place when this is starting to come up, so you're going to watch for this, right? This is already in place. Damn. I gotta go grab another water from downstairs. I thought I had one next to me. Now, when you're looking at this here, right? down, sell side liquidity, you pop up. Peep my vibe, right? Peep my vibe, right? In order, you drop down into a dealing range, forcing this gap, leaving liquidity. Once you start expanding away from this, you have to expect for this to fill or become your invisible fair value gap, right? If you run it buy side again, you'll deal with that if it does that. But already you're assuming this to be an invisible fair value gap, and your EXT is also a order block level, okay? So when you pop down here, right, and you draw back into this dealing range here, your 9, and look how long it takes to reference this 9. We're not even done it yet. And the coolest part is you can come in and not even be a swing trader. You can come in and again, you're not forcing yourself to be a certain type of trader if you don't want to be. Form fit this to your personality. You want to be a scalper? You want to be a day trader? Form fit this. Come in every single day and take sells till you reach liquidity. You get taken out one day, fuck it. Get back in. Whatever. And you still have the same DOL. And look how far you get. And the reason why I talk about these lower valuation ones like this, $40, right? You're not dealing with a SPY, a Tesla, an Apple, which is, a lot more per contract that you need to deal with. Some people might only have a 500 to 1500 in their account. You can't afford that many contracts on SPY even if you wanted to, or without going super, super far outside the money. And that's not a lot of fun. You need SPY to then do a motherfucking backflip for you to make some damn money. You don't want to do that. So instead, why don't you come in and dominate these lower ones? Because you know it's going to go anywhere, or you have at least a good idea from at least premium to discount. Make your money, man. I'd rather come in here with the same 1500 or whatever, get fucking 20 contracts and run this fucking thing. You'll make more money doing that in a quicker span of time than you taking 1 or 2 on SPY or 1 and 2 on Tesla. I mean, hey, man, you got it like that, do it. But if you like trading Tesla because it gets the job done and you know it's more volatile, go for it. And that's true. There's an argument there. But at the same time, there's nothing stopping you from coming in and taking that same $1,000 and just running this motherfucker for, saving half your account, half your money, and loading up on contracts. When you see you're at a high, low area and you're going to spool down, take liquidity, you can hold this for a couple days and be done. You're not worried about theta because you're already going through a liquidity void. Once you pop through a liquidity void and you take that fair value gap, the contracts that you're buying are already at a discount. And I can take a good time of one of our lectures to talk more on that, right? When you buy from an order block or a fair value gap or any of these premium PD arrays, right? This is the real discount to that contract. It's expensive down here. Why are you fucking trying to buy or get into sales down here and the contract's $1 million down here? Fuck that. Not saying you wouldn't know about this move because you're probably expecting this low. But the only thing is, yeah, you're probably going to get out here if you had sales. But look at the vibe. We pop into August, right? Let's do that. But for the majority of the month, right? And look, like right when you get to like the end of July, you pop down into August, you're done. You get into that next fair value level. And hold on, is there a fair value gap down here? Because like, what in the... And lo and behold, what is that? I want to highlight this area here. And we could ask ourselves, I mean, all we want to, like, yo, why did price reverse here? Whatever, whatever. So, in my opinion, I'll be like, so nobody saw that fair value gap that was just sitting on the motherfucking daily for no reason in the same spot. When you see price like this and you drag it over, right? I mean, you can do it if you want, do it if you don't want to. And there you go, bro. Price literally just made it to a fair value gap in a fair value gap. You can't be surprised. That it's up to you to keep your eyes open. Not saying we're focused on every fair value gap because we're not, but it's where we found it that makes a difference. Does that make sense? It's the same logic across the board. Any market, bro. Any market. It does not matter. A fair value gap is a fair value gap in a discount. It's going to be met with some buying. It's going to actually close in these gaps also. You know what I mean? So you got to look at, again, we always talk about narration on this channel. You got to be aware. Think, man. Silver doesn't want to get here. Okay. You see a lot of candles breaking lows and respecting highs when it's bearish. It starts breaking highs and respecting lows when it's bullish. Only coming down to rebalance PD arrays, right? So when you're looking at things like that, you're like, wow, is this really going to fill in right now? Yes, yes it is. Don't kid yourself. Yes it is. These things are cooked. Straight cooked. They're going to get traded through. And look at the liquidity pool that is just resting here. You don't forget about these things. You keep these things in mind. And again, daily chart. So it's not that you have to be super concerned about it like down here. Just keep it in mind. All right. So let's say you had a mistake and you thought this was going to go down, probably retrace back to EQ and then go down again because this was peeled through liquidity down here. No problem. We get that. Maybe you didn't see the fair value gap. Okay, no problem. But how you can verify price that this is over with, right? I just said something really special to you. Notice how the candles are respecting the one prior or not. These are all breaking lows, respecting highs. Respecting highs, breaking lows. As soon as you get in this area, look at the angle on this, number one. Number two, when you get this candle here, very disruptive, you already understand the objective here. But you have to think, is it done? Just because you feel this imbalance here or you feel this gap in does not mean this is done yet. So you got to think to yourself, are we done? You have another objective here. Again, we talked on it. But when you get there, is it done? You have this little move back down to EQ. You got a couple days down, but you're not going to get lazy on your trading. You're going to always like what I call play perfect offense and defense. You keep structure open like this. You keep yourself aware. You make yourself available. I do that lecture a lot. Make yourself available. Whatever the chart is given to me, it does not fucking matter. This thing could go backward and I don't give a fuck. As long as we understand the objective to a certain extent, we can come in and do what we need to do in terms of work. Being a trader full time is not very difficult. I'm telling you, bro, you can get there. You're almost there. The fact that you found this channel, this is the motivational section, right? The fact that you even found this channel, something led you here. And now you're looking at price differently. It's not all about every single time someone says, hey, let's just risk 1 to 3%. Fuck that, bro. If you understand that price is coming from a discount, it needs to go to a motherfucking premium or vice versa. And you told me that you sold this here, liquidity was here, and EQ was wide open, and you're in a 9 that needs to be met with selling. Bro, come on now. Not telling you to over leverage, not telling you to dump the account. Yes, I'm going to put a little more on it, my guy. We're going to make some money here. And I want you to. But you're also going to come in and be logical about it. You're going to have an idea that backs this up based on context, narrative, time, and price. You're not going to tell me you got in just because this gave you a few candles in a row. You're not going to tell me you sold this just because you weren't met with, your bias you had before. Maybe you thought it was bullish here, right? And you got frustrated and just went the other way. I don't want to hear things like that. I want to hear that you were in control. I want to hear that you had some logic behind your trade. That's what the purpose of this channel is for. We break these things down for a reason. All right? So, this was an amazing lecture. And I'm sure I'll talk to you guys again before the end of the day. So, until the next video. All right? Man, that was fun.